Hello, today we're going to be talking about Chesed. I don't think a lot of people understand Jupiter as a planet. Yeah, a lot of people get the whole, expansion and growth and all that stuff, and that's a big part of Jupiter, and Jupiter's a big boy. So it's important to know the other things, and that's going to be very important when we talk about this next sphere, Chesed. Let's get into that. So, Chesed is, for all intensive purposes, the constructive sphere to Gabora's destruction sphere. Gavora is all about destroy, 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 destroy. And Chesed is all about build, 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 build. Now, that could be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your view. Excess is a thing, and that is a negative quality of Jupiter, but we need to remember that Gavora is supposed to balance out Chesed. And in so doing, we'll notice that Chesed is all about knowledge and wisdom and building up spiritual matters. This is more of a spiritual primordial wisdom type path, so to speak. So, what is Chesed? What usually we think of a metaphor for this. So what is the metaphor for Chesed? Chesed is, imagine you have a block of marble that you're going to use in the creation of a statue. What you're going to do is you're going to visualize. You're going to have an idea of what this statue should look like. And if you can visualize it in your mind, you'll have an idea. And this idea will be so perfect that not even the masters could make this. We're talking the most perfect sphere or perfect statue that your mind can conjure up. That is Chesed. Chesed is the ideal situation of all things. Now, Chesed is also associated with the law, and Chesed the reason why is Chesed is the first sphere after the supernals, and so the supernals are basically God, so God really can't be bound by laws, and while everything is God, they take on, the more incomprehensible aspects of God, so it's kind of hard to get God to follow laws and understand those laws. But Chesed, we can understand the laws, so this is where the laws are made. And these are not normal people laws. This is where the divine laws are created, because Chesed is that ideal, right? So Chesed is the construction aspect, it is the raw building aspect, it is where the blueprints, well, not the blueprints, it is where all of the things are conceived of, the ideas of things. This is where ideas are formed, the raw Platonic ideals are. But it's also where the laws are made, because they are the ideal laws for everything. They are the divine laws, and these laws cannot be broken. That's important to know. Divine laws cannot be broken. If one attempts to break divine law, it will lead to Gabora coming in and destroying things, because Gabora is also enforcing those laws. So, we have 3 paths we need to talk about in order to fully understand the paths of Chesed. As always, we're only talking about the spheres we've already talked about, just for the sake of comprehension. So, the first one we're going to talk about is the Path of Qua Earth, which is the Wheel of Fortune, which is Jupiter, which connects Netzach to Chesed. This is actually kind of interesting, because this is, I believe, the only sphere that connects to... Yeah, I think this is the only sphere that connects to a tarot card associated with it, which is interesting. And this is a path of just pure bliss, okay? This is a path of pure blessings, good stuff, because this is... If we look at what this path is, and we look at where this path is, this is the path going from ideals to the path of raw human emotions and raw passions and love and all that stuff. So, no, that's going to be good, right? So that path connecting love and all the passions and like all of those good Venerian qualities is being blessed by the higher tier of that, which is Jupiter. It's expanding those. And if we look at them in astrology, if we look at in Jupiter and Venus's case, Jupiter is called the greater benefic and Venus is called the lesser benefic. So no, that makes a lot of sense. I think that's not really up for debate. So, next one we need to talk about is Yod, which is the Hermit, which connects Tiphereth and Chesed. This is the card of Virgo, or card associated with Virgo, and this is where we get into some interesting things, because why would the Hermit be connected to the sphere of balance and the sphere of ideals? Well, the Hermit card kind of explains it. The Hermit card is it's a very spiritual card. This is kind of the card of whenever somebody's like, oh, what should I do when I get the Hermit? I normally think of you need either introspection or you need to ask someone you trust. And the Hermit here is kind of, if we think of the sun as kind of a hero, this is kind of indicating that the sun is asking the wise hermit how to do the goal, how to complete the quest, so to speak. And if you're a fan of video games, this is getting the mentor, or getting the guide, so to speak. This is that process. Because the knowledge that the hermit gives from Chesed is used to more adequately balance Tiphereth. And going up, it's also the primordial... it's also informing Chesed that balance is one of the ideal situations. And the last one is between Gevora and Chesed. So, what happens when we mix the path of raw destruction with the path of raw creation and idealism? All balances that have not been corrected are destroyed. Now, if we look at the Strength card, the Strength card will tell us that this person is totally balanced. The infinity sign shows that they are balanced and they have the power and the knowledge of the divine. And this is kind of, if we look at the two figures in the Strength card as the two aspects of which spheres we're dealing with, we can very clearly make an allusion to the fact that Gevora is the lion and that Chesed is the woman with the knowledge of the divine, because she has the divine laws on her side. However, whenever we're in a middle section of the tree, whenever we're in a middle path, as we saw with the Path of Qua when we were crossing from Hod to Netzach, this needs to be balanced. If this is not balanced, what we will get is the lion will tear the woman to shreds. That is what will happen. Now, you need to place... Now, this is also the sphere of your anger and your destructive tendencies coming and being subservient to your higher nature, so to speak. And in so doing, we will find that, yes, it is better to live with your balanced... It is better to live your ideal balanced life than it is to basically be destroying things constantly. Now remember that Chesed is not... It is not a middle pillar sphere, though. So we don't want to stay here. We want to balance this sphere out with Gabora, yes, but we also want to go back to Tippereth so that we can remain balanced. We want to maintain and have the knowledge and the power of Chesed and Gabora on our side, but we do not, under any circumstances, want to just remain there indefinitely, lest we become susceptible to the negative, unbalanced forces of Chesed. Chesed's a wonderful sphere. A lot of people like Chesed, but that doesn't mean it's a good place to be long term. That's about all. I think we pretty much covered that. All right, so if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you dislike this video, please leave a dislike. If you have a comment, concern, feedback, or anything of that ilk, please leave it in the comment section down below. And if you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe. All right, have a good one.